From the Kansas City Sports Update Studio, this is the Richard Smith Show, where we talk about all things Kansas City Chiefs, brought to you by Arrowhead Update. Don't forget to check out our Royals Update podcast with Kevin Mong. Check us out on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Player FM, YouTube, and all third-party applications. Also check us out on all major social media platforms. And if you can't find us there, just Google The Richard Smith Show and Kansas City Chiefs, and I promise you will find it. Let's talk Chiefs. How we doing, Chiefs Kingdom? It is Saturday, June 8th, and I have an exciting subject that I'm ready to touch base here today on the Richard Smith Show. Welcome to the show today, everyone. Today, I'm going to focus on Patrick Mahomes and what his skill set does for the Kansas City Chiefs and how it truly affects the Chiefs and his production last year and what we have to look forward to going into this upcoming season, and kind of clear up some things as far as Chiefs Kingdom, wondering if he's going to have a 50 touchdown season again this year, which, hey, Kansas City, check it out on all social media platforms. There is a poll out right now. Will Patrick Mahomes throw for under 50 touchdowns, or will Patrick Mahomes throw for over 50 touchdowns? And I'm excited to get your all's input because I know that we have a better defense, which people think that's going to drop his production. I'm going to touch base on all of that stuff here today on the Richard Smith Show. So let's hop right into it, Chiefs Kingdom. And this is where I'm going to start off. Where did Patrick Mahomes' 5,000 yards spread out to last year during this magical Chiefs Kingdom season that we had? And first off, obviously, we're going to start with Tyreek Hill. He had 1,479 of those receiving yards. Travis Kelce had 1,336 yards. Sammy Watkins had 519. Chris Conley had 334. Kareem Hunt, no longer with the team, had 378 receiving yards. And Demarcus Robinson, the man who caught Patrick Mahomes' 50th touchdown pass, which was an 89-yard bomb over the Raiders, which is awesome. I love seeing that. Big-time touchdown there. Demarcus Robinson had 288 receiving yards from him last year as well. And I'm going to throw Damian Williams in there because he is our starting running back now. He had 160 receiving yards with 2 receiving touchdowns last year. So that's where most of Patrick Mahomes' yardage went to, was those group of 7 receivers. And then a handful of others, to some other receivers. So I'm going to put it into perspective here. Tyreek had 12 touchdowns. Kelce had 10. Watkins had 3. Chris Conley had 5. Kareem Hunt had 7. Demarcus Robinson had 4. Damian Williams had 1. And my man Sausage got himself a receiving touchdown last year. Good for you. Good for you, Anthony Sherman. Keep up the good work at everything you do. I know you'd rather protect the quarterback, but it's great to see you get a receiving touchdown. Shows the versatility that we got in Sausage. So anyway, 12 different receivers for the Kansas City Chiefs last year had touchdowns. 12. Pretty impressive numbers. That really is impressive numbers, okay? So let's dig deeper into these numbers. Let's check this out. Mahomes averaged 318 yards per game last year. Look, let's be honest with you. I think everybody in Chiefs Kingdom, when Alex Smith was the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, we were clawing and fighting for a 300-yard game. Even one. If we just gave us one, I felt good about that. Patrick Mahomes' quarterback rating last year was 113.8. Our third down conversion percentage, second in the NFL, mind you, 47.2. Those are great numbers. Fourth down percentage, 80%. Was good for second in the NFL. Look, the average percentage for fourth downs last season was 57.1. 80% on fourth down. Those are great, incredible numbers. We were third in passing efficiency on first down. So, look, it didn't matter what down it was. Didn't matter what down it was. We were doing great. We were doing big things in Kansas City. And then you top off everything that Patrick Mahomes has done passing. He also had 2 rushing touchdowns. I mean, the man has done it all that he could do in one season. In his first season as a Chiefs starting quarterback. Does Patrick Mahomes even have a downfall? Well, Kansas City, I'm here to tell you that I dug something up on Mahomes. It's a little bit staggering to me. And they're just stats. But stats speak loudly. And if Mahomes can take care of this coming up season, I think this would be incredible. And also keep in mind, Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes either overthrew, underthrew, or a busted route or something. Look, there's probably 10 touchdowns last year that Mahomes didn't get that he should have. So just keep that in mind. But here's one staggering number. We all know that Patrick Mahomes threw 12 interceptions last year. But did you guys know that Patrick Mahomes fumbled the ball 9 times? 9 times. That is 21 turnovers by himself last season. That's a huge number. If he can even cut that in half, think about that, Kansas City. Our gunslinger, look, if he can tuck the ball away, stop fumbling the ball, get that interceptions ratio down a little bit more, I think we're really in for a magical season here in Kansas City. Are there things to work on? Of course. Nobody's perfect. If everything was perfect in life, life would be boring. Boring. And everybody would live reckless. But sometimes when you live a little reckless, you fumble the ball 9 times and throw 12 interceptions for, 21 turnovers. It's total this season. So, like Patrick Mahomes has been saying, he's been going through his progressions. He's been checking his breakdowns. He's going for the first down instead of the touchdown. Look, first downs equal touchdowns. And that's a hard thing for a gunslinger like Patrick Mahomes to realize, but he's honing in on that. So when you hone in on that, that means you're going to get the ball out of your hands faster. When you get the ball out of your hands faster, that is less time for a mistake. Less time to fumble the ball. Less time to make a bad decision and make a bad throw. It's a situation where all Mahomes is doing is he's polishing his craft now. He's made it his. Now he's just polishing it. That's where all these things come in. Remember, this is his first year. We expected in Chiefs Kingdom for him to have a lot of turnovers. His turnovers were way, way put in the shadow by his excellence. Look, if Mahomes threw for 30 touchdowns and had 21 turnovers by himself, we might be having a different conversation here. I'm just saying, Kansas City, that might be the difference between 6 or 7 losses on the season. Let's be real with it. So as he hones in on this, which I know him and Reed have sat down and thought, how can we fix this problem? And that's what they're doing. Go through your progressions, your checkdowns. You don't have to go for the big play every time. A first down leads to a touchdown. Win the throw. Win the throw. Win the throw. Win the play. Win the series. Win the quarter. Win the half. Win the game. There's a progression. And look, I love Patrick Mahomes. But I had to at least say that. But look, I'm not saying it's a weakness. That's just something Patrick Mahomes needs to work on. So, let's take everything that we just said and let's move on to next season and how we're looking at a Chiefs defense that is going to be substantially better than a Chiefs defense that we've seen probably in quite some time. So, what I keep hearing from fans, and look, I felt this way in the beginning too, but have since changed my mind on this conclusion. I felt like Mahomes' numbers were going to drop a little bit due to the defense playing better. But when we look at the bigger picture, I don't feel like that quite makes a lot of sense. Because in 2018, the opponents that played the Kansas City Chiefs on average for the whole season had the ball for 32 minutes and 5 seconds of the game. 32 minutes and 5 seconds of the game. Over half the game, our horrible defense was on the field. So look, let's say that we take that number and we reverse it. And we say that the Kansas City Chiefs are on the field 32 minutes and 5 seconds of every single game. That means you're telling me Patrick Mahomes has 4 more minutes in each game to have the ball in his hands? Oh no, we're looking at 60 touchdowns. For a man who overthrew or underthrew or what missed at least 10 touchdowns last year on a 50 touchdown season. So keep that in mind, Kansas City. When you have a defense that's putting pressure on the opposing offense and we're having 3 and outs, instead of them driving down the field every single time, our defensive efficiency goes up. The best thing is our best defense is our offense. Am I not right? So then we have a good defense to complement that. Look, Patrick Mahomes already puts enough pressure on every single quarterback who walks into our building or the building we walk into. Period. So then you put a defense on the field that's threatening as well? Oh man, you want to talk about mistakes? Look, this is going to be a great season. That ball's going to be in Patrick Mahomes' hand more than we think it will be because the defense isn't going to be on the field as much. It only makes sense. What is the defense's job? Essentially, besides not letting the other team score points, it's to put the ball back in the offense's hand. I've never, ever, ever heard a coach go into the huddle on offense or bring the huddle to him and say, all right, people, this is the game plan. We need to put the ball back in the defense's hand. Never. You don't hear that. When do you hear that? Come on. Come on. Offense scores points. Defense wins championships because it puts the ball back in the offense's hand. Look, Patrick Mahomes has been compared to Dan Marino so much because their first years they had were great. I want you guys to look at a progression in the NFL. Every great quarterback who has gone on a run with Super Bowls with a franchise had a wide receiver to complement that. My trivia question to all of you, who was that? Who was that receiver for Dan Marino? Don't worry, I'll wait. And don't you dare tell me Irving Fryer. Don't give me that. He never, ever, ever had a Tyreek Hill. Never. Never. So, but you look at quarterbacks like Joe Montana, you look at quarterbacks like Troy Aikman, even look at quarterbacks like Jim Kelly who lose 4 Super Bowls in a row. Every single one of those quarterbacks had a wide receiver, a Hall of Fame wide receiver. Even Tom Brady. Look at Randy Moss. Come on now, Julian Edelman. All these great quarterbacks have a great receiver to complement that. That's why Dan Marino is not in the conversation when it comes to the greatest of all time. And that is why Patrick Mahomes will. Because he's got a star cast around him and he's a star as well. So Kansas City, check it out. The defense is going to put the offense back on the field, just like it's essentially supposed to do. You know, bottom line in football, that's what we want. The offense on the field to score touchdowns, the defense to stop the opposing team, and a formidable special teams, which we absolutely have there too. So, I'm going to do a projection of numbers, and I want everybody to remember this as we go into the season. Because I really have a feeling that Kelsey and Tyreek will match their numbers from last year. 1,400, 1,500 yards, 1,350 yards. You know, Tyreek had 12 touchdowns, and Kelsey had 10 touchdowns. I assume they're going to match that. I assume Watkins is going to have a career year this year with all the hype around him. So career year for Watkins for me is 850 yards and 9 touchdowns. McCole Hartman, this is going to be a breakout year for him as well. Look, I look for McCole Hartman we're really going to be trying to figure out what we're going to do with him. But Hartman's still going to have 650 yards and 7 touchdowns. So, and I look at Williams out of the backfield. When Williams came in, he had 200 yards receiving and a few touchdowns. So I look for him to have 600 yards and 6 touchdowns. And then you put all the other receivers, our depth. We'll add all of them up and say 600 yards and 8 touchdowns for the other 4 or 5 receivers. That puts Patrick Mahomes at 55 touchdowns at the end of the season. We added McCole Hartman, a 4.3 40 guy, on top of the fastest guy in the league, on top of the best tight end in the league, with Sammy Watkins. There's no way this guy's not going to be able to get open. Look, our receivers are going to be open on every single play. How can a defense contest any of that? We are speed, speed, speed with a quarterback who can make every throw on the field. No, there's no way his numbers go down. So I add up all the passing yards with these guys, with the receivers and the depth that we have. And I'm saying he's going to have 5,515 passing yards with 55 touchdowns. And look, his rushing touchdowns are going to go up. I'll say he's going to have 4 rushing touchdowns. The man's almost going to have 60 complete touch or all-purpose touchdowns by the end of the season. Better defense means better 3-and-out percentage. Less time on the field as a defense. I mean, it makes sense. You got to look at it in a way where, yes, our defense was terrible, but I don't see how you have a defense that's that terrible and they spend that much time on the field. How is that a good defense going to cut down Patrick Mahomes' production? It's just going to add to it. The only time that can really make a difference is a pick six, or we take one into the house, and then it puts the ball right back in the offense's hand. I'm cool with that. The opposing offense, I'm cool with that. We want those turnovers. We want the pick sixes. We want the defensive scores. But we're still going to have more production out of Patrick Mahomes with a better defense. It just doesn't make sense for it to go any other way. So, anyway, Kansas City. I really wanted to break that down and get everybody an idea of what's going on with Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs and just what he brings to the table and how well he spreads the ball around. I know we see this, but you got to hear the numbers. And we're at a point here where if you can cut down the turnovers and our defense steps up, look, y'all, this cat might be able to have a season that no quarterback will ever top again, ever. Don't doubt this Kansas City Chiefs team on any measure whatsoever. We might have the best offense that's ever taken a field in the NFL ever this coming up season. So get prepared for that. Don't be surprised if we're averaging 37 to 40 points a game. Don't be surprised if we put up 60 multiple times. This is getting really interesting in Kansas City. And just stay with it, Chiefs Kingdom. Obviously, it's a good thing, but let's be realistic about it. Let's be realistic in Chiefs Kingdom. Stop doubting. We're obviously not pessimists, but our production will all around go up with a better defense. If our production goes down with a better defense, why are we doing anything on defense? Why would we do anything to make our defense better if it's going to make our production go down? So that's my nail in the coffin as far as the show today. We're in a good spot, Kansas City. Let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy this summer and enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's Saturday. I want to get this out to you because it is 5:20 Arrowhead time, and I want you guys to enjoy this before you go out and enjoy your drinks and beverages. And I'm not sure what the weather's going on out there in KC, but hopefully you are doing some barbecue too. So I really hope you enjoyed the show. This was the Patrick Mahomes in-depth breakdown for the preseason Kansas City Chiefs update here. That's what I'm going to call it. So, have a great weekend, Kansas City. This is the Richard Smith Show, where we talk about all things Kansas City Chiefs. brought to you by Arrowhead Update. We're here at the Kansas City Sports Update Studios. Check us out on iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Player FM, YouTube, and all third-party applications. Also check us out on all social media platforms. And if you cannot find us there, just Google or search The Richard Smith Show and Kansas City Chiefs, and I promise you will find us. Have a great day, Chiefs Kingdom.